What's good, y'all? Welcome back. Welcome back. F1 is adding a new team. Cadillac, or General Motors, but more specifically, Cadillac, are joining F1. You guys let me know you guys' thoughts and comments down below in regards to how you guys are feeling about this. I'm actually pretty excited about Cadillac joining F1. Now, do I like Cadillacs in general? They're cool. I'm not really a big fan of them. I just don't really like them. They're cool though. Have I drove one? No. So how can I really don't like it? I just don't like it. But we will see the automaker from Detroit joining in 2026. Now, obviously, that's 2 years away. They have to get the team right. You got to find drivers. Now, if I had to choose two drivers, I'm definitely, I'm looking at Danny Rick. It's interesting. Very interesting. But we know how popular Danny Rick is. And we know how big Formula One is getting into the States. And I think for a lot of F1 fans, specifically here, that they want to see somebody popular join this team. I think Damon will be a perfect fit. Now, Damon will probably have to wait 2 years. Obviously, he's leaving, the Red Bull team this year. But I mean, he hasn't really been great, so it's really his fault. But I've kind of said before regarding Danny Rick, like, how many chances does he need? How many chances does he need in Formula One? But I do think Cadillac will be a pretty good fit for him. New team. We saw what he did with Renault when they, got going and stuff like that. It's actually pretty good with Renault. I feel like he can make that same effort here. Now, the second driver who I can see with that, I've seen like a Checo Perez. I still do think Checo Perez is leaving after this year with Red Bull because he's just been absolutely it's been weird. It's been very weird with Danny Rick. I'm sorry, with Checo Perez. I don't know what else going on with him. And knowing Red Bull and seeing what they have done with the Alex Albons and stuff like that, who have been with them, the Gasly's, he's going to be out the door. And knowing that Max Verstappen won his fourth straight title, Checo has not really done his job. Not compared to like the past years, but very disappointing from Checo. I just don't see him leaving. Now, could I see him joining Cadillac? It's a possibility. Now, if he does join Cadillac, I would assume he would have to sit out this year, the next season, unless he actually does stick with Red Bull and then just leaves for Cadillac. But it would be interesting. It would be very interesting to see what Cadillac wants to do in regards to stuff like that. There's still a long way to go before that. A lot can change in a little more than 12 months. In fact, it was only this year that F1 had rejected GM's initial efforts to join the sport. And I remember that because we talked about that as well. I'm like, dang, they got rejected. That's interesting. Did I care? No. But it's cool to see. Originally packaged as a Andretti bid supported by GM, the Andretti name was not present in F1's Cadillac news release and has effectively been sidelined in favor of GM taking the reins completely. So Andretti, but I thought Andretti is going to be in it, like in some sort of capacity. But it does seem like it's going to be just strictly Cadillac and GM. Interesting. That is interesting. Now, we'll see what happens regarding that. I mean, Andretti tried. I think Andretti wanted to own team, but obviously just didn't see that. The reason behind January's decision to block Andretti's GM for 2026 centered around value and competitiveness. F1 doubted Andretti joining 2025 or 26 with what was a technical partnership with GM, providing a value to existing stakeholders to persuade them to give up a slice of the sport's booming revenues to another entrant. Now, it seems like the competitiveness of them, I mean, if you give a team 2 years to properly prepare entering F1, I would think that's plenty enough time to find the right crew, the right drivers, sponsorship, stuff like that for the team. But GM is now going all in with his Cadillac brand rather than simply being a technical partner of a new entrant. So that's a reason why that's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Significant financial backing from General Motors in the introduction of a brand as strong as Cadillac is as much as the sport could ask for. It's a similar case with Audi, which is in the process of taking over the Sauber team for 2026. Now that I do remember, and I actually did not touch on that yet. Audi is taking over the Sauber team. Pretty cool. Very interesting. Excited to see how that goes down, but we will see how it goes. In the short term, it will rely on the customer engine deal with an existing manufacturer, the identity of which remains to be seen. Ooh. But Formula One obviously feels confident the team that hasn't been assembled so far can compete at a acceptable level by 2026. Now, my question is, how impactful is this team going to be in 2026? I mean, is it going to be better than the Williams, the Haas, the Kicks? Like, there's so many not great teams. Like, it's like 3 or 4 teams not great in Formula One. Are they going to be part of that? Like starting off, or are we going to see them in the mid tier with the Alpines and the Aston Martin stuff like that? That would be interesting because we have seen with teams that come to F1, like I said, they haven't been great. Some have been somewhat decent. As they have gone through like a few like name changes, stuff like that. I'm hoping Cadillac comes in is actually a really, really good team, but I'm not really expecting that. I'm expecting some early struggles with them. But like I said, if you have 2 years to properly assemble a team, get ready for the F1 season, you should be fine. I would assume, but I would think they are fine. Now, obviously I was muted. As for Andretti, much of that team's work and legacy will remain. Mario Andretti, America's last F1 champ, and the father of company boss Michael will join the Cadillac team as a director, as a nod to what the family has done to get another American team on the grid. Like I said, it's pretty cool. We all know about Mario Andretti, the last American F1 champ. And probably the only one we may really have. I don't know. You guys know me. I support Logan Sargent when he came to F1. Obviously, that was it failed. It failed pretty mightily. But I'm very happy that, Andretti is going to be, the director is going to be part of it. So even though it's not fully Mario Andretti still has some sort of like influence on the team and all. There has been no news of drivers yet, but both Andretti and GM previously indicated willingness to start racing with at least one American behind the wheel, which I would assume, like not assume, but I would think they would do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would think they would do that. Like I would assume an American-based team would have an American driver starting off. I'm not saying for both like spots, but at least for one. Now, like I said, who that American driver could be, you guys can let me know in the comments down below which American driver could that be. But in total, I'm actually pretty cool and excited to see that happening. Like I said, the American driver, I'm not sure who it is. And shit, hey, could be Logan Sargent. Imagine Logan Sargent come back to F1, taking the hiatus, getting back right, getting back comfortable and confident, coming back with Cadillac. I can see that happening. I could really see that happening. Now that I am thinking about it, I would actually like to see that. I would very much like to see that. F1 is the last corner of the big league motorsports world that General Motors had yet to explore. Took them long enough. It took them long. I do know about them like the other racing stuff like that, but we'll see. F1's 11th team on the grid will go racing in 2026, initially with help from the outside, but with the goal becoming a works team that builds its own chassis and engines by the end of the decade. So 5 years later on, what was this team going to be? Now, listen, this is going to be the second American team. Also, we have Haas, but the 2 American teams in F1 is actually pretty cool. Actually pretty cool. Came a long way. By comparison, American-based Haas F1 has an office in North Carolina's NASCAR country, but preps his cars in England and uses engines from Ferrari. So, when GM rolls off the grid for 2026 season opener, the scramble it has made to get there will be matched only by level of expectation from the United States Formula One fan base that's spent the past 5 years growing from niche to mainstream. You see it now with all these races in the F1, especially Vegas, Drive to Survive. A lot of F1 fans getting into that, getting another driver, stuff like that. I actually think it's really cool stuff like that for them to be in F1. But the ultimate measuring stick for any true American F1 effort remains the Anglo-American racers of Dan Gurney. The Eagles that flew around Grand Prix circuits from 66 to 68, particularly the Eagle T1G that won the 67 Belgian GP. I do remember Dan Gurney. We should probably check out Dan Gurney again. I think we should. Why not? Any racer worth his salt must be challenged, says Mario Andretti, the only American citizen to win the F1 World Championship. There is no greater challenge than F1 racing, except perhaps getting there in the first place, which is very true because, like I said, we know how hard it is to get into F1 than it is for you to stay in F1. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I'm confident Andretti knows what they're doing, or GM, whatever, Cadillac knows what they're doing. Like I said, you have 2 full years. 2 years to get ready. And then also alongside with that, I would assume like the money is going to be spread. So instead of money being spread among 10 teams, you got to add another team. So it'd be interesting to see what Cadillac does and how they perform. You guys let me know you guys' overall thoughts and comments down below about Cadillac joining F1. Like, so I'm pretty excited about it. It's been coming. It's been a long, long time. Like, it's been going on for like a few like months now regarding these about them trying to join F1. Now for it's officially happening. It's exciting. And we'll see what goes down. As always, you guys don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Take care. Stay amazing. See you guys soon. Peace.